It's just categorically false. No, Biden did not take FEMA relief money to use on migrants. So FEMA regional administrators have been meeting with city officials on site to coordinate available federal support from FEMA and other federal agencies. Funding is also available through FEMA's emergency food and shelter program to eligible local governments and non-for-profit organizations upon request to support humanitarian relief for migrants. This is a
big oversized suit.
Falsehood. Disaster relief funds used on immigrants illegally in the U.S. The fact is, no money is being diverted from response need.
President Trump is accusing the Biden administration of using FEMA funding to support undocumented migrants. How is the White House responding to that?
I mean, it's just categorically false. It is not true. It is a false statement. And look, the fact of the matter is, I think Washington Post fact checker did a piece.
It's false, huh? Yeah. Yep. Trump. Yeah. Trump's the bad guy. You know? But come to be out, he's been right all along.
Let's head to the White House. Peter Doocy is asking questions of Karine Jean-Pierre. Let's listen.
Home, who are wrongfully detained and held hostage. And again, frankly, we have had an extraordinary record of doing just that. And that's going to be the president's top priority.
And on this issue of funding, the administration has money to send to Lebanon without Congress coming back. But Congress does have to come back to approve money to send to people in North Carolina. Do I have that right?
Here's what I'm going to be very clear about. The president and the vice president has had a robust whole of government response to this. Hundreds of millions of dollars. I said it at the top.
I'm so sick of these lies and just throw the binder out the window. In this oversized suit. This big old suit she got on. I'm sick of it.
More than $200 million that we have directly put towards survivors here for disaster help. And that's because of this president's commitment to make sure that we are there for communities that are impacted. We take this very seriously again. We take this very seriously. And before the hurricane hit, we pre-positioned more than 1,500 federal folks on the ground to help. And so we have made sure that every state has gotten their storm requested emergency declaration. They requested it, and we made sure they received it. We've taken this very seriously. More than $200 million that we have provided to the impacted areas. But instead, people want to do disinformation, misinformation, which is dangerous. Because then when folks on the ground hear that, they may not want to ask for the help that they need. That is there for them. That's our focus here.
But President Biden is fond of saying, show me your budget and I will tell you what you value. If he's got money for people in Lebanon right now, without Congress having to come back, what does it say about his values? There's not enough money right now for people in North Carolina who need it. That's not misinformation.
Wait, no, that is your whole premise of the question is misinformation, sir. What you do? Yes, it's misinformation.
Is there money to send to Lebanon right now?
I just mentioned to you that we provided more than $200 million to folks who are impacted in the area, and I just shared with you that people are deciding not to. People are deciding not to.
President sent a letter to Congress that there's not enough money to help people in North Carolina.
We're talking about the SBA disaster loan.
That's money for people in North Carolina.
And that's important, and people in North Carolina need that. Wait, this is nothing new. Peter, this is nothing new. Congress comes together, they provide money, millions of dollars, for disaster relief. We're asking them to do the job that they have been doing for some time.
From a letter that President Biden sent to Johnson, McConnell, Schumer, and Jeffries. The president's letter is not misinformation. Would you agree?
No, the way you're asking me the question is misinformation. There's money that we are allocating to the impacted areas, and there's money there to help people who truly need it.
Throw the whole administration out. Just throw the binder out in the middle of the street. Throw the laptop out in the middle of the street. This is an absolute disgrace.
Survivors who need the funding, and it's there.
That you don't like misinformation.
I said that. I actually said we have the money available to help survivors of Hurricane Helene and also Hurricane Milton. Now, there's going to be a shortfall, right? Because we don't know how bad Hurricane Milton is going to be, and so we're going to need additional funding. That's
exactly what I just asked about. And you said it was misinformation.
What you're asking me is why Congress needs to come back and do their job. That's what you're asking me. Congress needs to come back and do their job and provide extra assistance, extra funding to disaster relief fund. That's what Congress needs to do, and we're going to continue to urge that. You may not want that, but that's okay. That's what this president wants, and that's what the vice president wants. Thanks, everybody.
Ooh. That big old suit. Throw that binder out in the middle of the street. That big old oversized suit.
In our state, we have 7 counties that are major disaster areas and communities that no longer exist. People that have lost everything. And on the Friday that my mayors are finally getting a phone call from FEMA, Maria, a phone call. What you have is, you've got Antony Blinken and Kamala Harris sending $157 million to Lebanon. This is maddening. You've got DHS saying, well, we're out of money. When Homeland Security is saying that, and they've spent $1.4 billion since 2022 taking care of illegal immigrants. They spent $780 million out of the Emergency Food and Shelter Program for illegal immigrants, but we can't get immediate assistance for Tennesseans who have lost it all.
Right.
This is infuriating. It is infuriating. It is insulting.
And it's sad.
People have lost everything. There's nothing here.
We're 8 days, 9 days post-hurricane, and that was the first FEMA drop I've seen here in the Swannanoa area. I haven't seen a FEMA agent yet. This is all local volunteers from abroad, as far as Washington State, are coming out here to help and pick up the slack that's been left behind from our government.
You know, and President Trump, he's not even in office, but yet he's still getting a Starlink. He's doing his best. He's shaking all the trees. If we're talking about federal assistance, I didn't see my first FEMA truck until, what is today, Saturday? I didn't see my first FEMA truck until Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening. And all I saw was a FEMA truck with a satellite on it, parked in a corner underneath some shade trees in the parking lot with no signage, no information. I don't know why they're there.
The word from the people that we talk to, and they say, when we say, who else has been here, can we help, maybe we can work together, they're like, you're the first ones, or the only other people that have helped us is another private, citizens that are just basically our neighbors or our friends trying to help us. They hadn't seen anyone from the federal government yet.
When our vice president talks on the TV about $750 for FEMA, yeah, that's not good. The only information that I've gotten about FEMA actions on the ground has been an attempt to sort of stop some of the volunteer efforts, especially, there's a medical support trailer that's here by volunteers. They have doctors and registered nurses. They're all licensed doctors and registered nurses. They were told they couldn't do what they were doing because it was not being federally controlled or something along those lines. I've seen one helo come in, and I was told that was FEMA, and that was it. Today was the first FEMA delivery that I've seen or I've heard of in the entire region.
Madam Vice President
Alex,
welcome to Call Her Daddy.
it is good to be with you.
Thank you so much for being here.
Of course.
We're in the final stretch of the election.
Yes.
How are you feeling?
Millions struggling, dying, hurricane victims. You just can't make this up.